tell you this now, just from the angle we're at, the framing is going to be like the worst place.
Mechanico enters the lineup for Dunlap.
Because this was a really cool item. Like it's full of overboard. I don't know if people know.
Hello and welcome. It's Caden Sexton and it's Ryan Vogel. We had a series of audio delays, Ryan, and so we apologize to all of our viewers here on CIProud.com, but you at least got a visual show for that first quarter. Ryan, walk us through those last 8 minutes.
Yeah, it started out slow a little bit. A lot of physicality inside between Max Sutter and Jonah Funk. You saw an early illegal screen, I believe a couple blocks, and the scoring's been pretty spread out. Matthew Zobrist has been creating shots for Metamora. You saw the quarter end with a Brady Jones 3 there. Eli Mechanicu also had a 3 for Dunlap. It's 15-5 here. Metamora doing some Metamora things here, as they are definitely the favorite, but it's an odd game as this is the third time this team's playing, the second time within a week, and Dunlap's the away team at its home stadium. So a lot of weird stuff going on, but here we go, second quarter.
Ryan, you recapped it well. As a drive by Max Sutter, no foul before the shot. We'll see what goes on. You know, before we continue anymore, I do have to say we are set up right in front of the Metamora student section, so our microphones are going to pick up a very loud Metamora chant. That does not mean that Dunlap Eagle fans are not filling up this gym, because I would say so.
Absolutely. I mean, it's full to the brink here. Tough to find a parking spot, as is most Mid-Illini matchups.
Gibbs there with the bucket. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on everything that's going on. Again, we had audio problems the first 8 minutes. We sincerely apologize, but nonetheless, the show goes on here at Dunlap for a Metamora home game. Deep 3 from Zobrist, rattles around the rim. Second chance effort there by Greaves, unsuccessful. We get a whistle on the way down, and it's a jump ball. Possession goes to the Eagles.
And those are the types of physical plays. You see Ashton Greaves kind of get whipped down there, just kind of got his arm caught up in a jump ball, but that's the type of stuff you see with the season on the line. There's seniors on the floor that do not want their high school career to be ended yet, and they're going to give it everything they got tonight. It's going to be a great matchup.
It is the first playoff game for each team, which means the first and the last opportunity to end or move on. As Matthew Zobrist drove into the paint unsuccessful, you know, we kind of heard from Coach Julius, it'll be the junior Jack Steffen that gets the majority of the work on the Bradley commit.
And we saw them throw kind of a mixed match of things at him last week with our interview with Coach Julius. It kind of sounded that they're going to keep trying to throw different looks at him. It's more of a, hey, we got to contain this guy situation more than shut it down, because no one's really done that yet.
Right, you're correct, Ryan. Nobody's done it, and Justin Dem kind of talked about how nobody is able to. However, everybody tries, and that creates more and more opportunities for them. Max Sutter, probably the least fouled player in the Mid-Illini, hits the floor hard there, and a foul comes on the Dunlap Eagles going the other way. A reach-in call for Ryder Renette, the freshman, against Zobrist. That's a tough matchup for a freshman to take on.
And it absolutely is, but we saw some of that freshman confidence last week. He had himself a game. He had over 20 points at Metamora last week. He was throwing up threes from wherever he wanted. He looked very confident driving. That's kind of what they need. They need him to come alive tonight.
Yeah, his 22 points led the way for the Eagles in that 1-point loss to the #1 in this regional Redbirds and the Mid-Illini champions. Another jump ball. Looks like they had Ryder Renette, the freshman we've been talking about, held on the ground there. And so Metamora is going to have to play some defense. Jump ball always benefits each side, Ryan, but you talk about the energy that it kind of brings to a team that's trailing a little bit, or maybe the nullifier that it brings to a team that's trailing.
Anytime you can get someone on your floor, especially a freshman like Renette right there, give you a little spark, you'll take that any day of the week.
They call a travel there on Jack Steffen. He's got a lot on his mind defending against Zobrist, but that offensive miscue basically grants the Metamora Redbirds another opportunity. It is Zobrist to carry the ball. Again, we mentioned it earlier, he's a Bradley commit, so he's well regarded and known in the Central Illinois area. First team Mid-Illini for a reason. He gets it out to Colin Ramage. Ramage all the way into the paint for 2.
And Ramage is one of those guys that you kind of forget about when you're game planning. It's always Matthew Zobrist, Brady Jones, Jonah Funk, kind of that main trio that stands out. And then Ramage is kind of your cleanup guy.
I'm not sure if that one was blocked or not. It kind of looked like it went straight up and back down. Nonetheless, in the paint, Ramage, he got it out. Second shot opportunity by Jones, unsuccessful. Dunlap wanting to slow things down. They want to set up their play kind of their pace, Ryan. They've really not looked like they've been playing their type of basketball. They've looked like they're trying to match the Redbirds. Yeah, they've been a little sporadic this year. They've had some odd losses and some pretty good wins. Just a team that really hasn't found its flow, I don't think, the whole year. They did have a great game, last game of the season against Metamora last week, as it was just a one-point game, and they came down and had a shot to tie it. Ryder Renette on Zobrist, and Zobrist had a clean shot. Doesn't go, and there's going to be an over-the-back call on Ramage to get another Dunlap possession. Can't see, no, Ramage is staying in. He just needed a quick breather, getting a sip of water and going back out there again. Metamora in the home whites playing on Dunlap's floor. Not something you see every day, but something you see in the spring with all this playoff action, Ryan. Yeah, it seems like those odd games are always going to kind of favor the underdog a little bit. The underdog needs something a little funky to happen, so who knows, might work in Dunlap's favor. Max Sutter into the paint by himself. Easy bucket for two. His defender, that's his first bucket of the game, Ryan. He got into the paint, and one of his defender fell down on accident, and Dunlap capitalized on the opportunity, pass into the open man. Zobrist thought about it, instead travels on the way to try and get an assist. And so Dunlap gifted another possession here. And Zobrist has traveled twice now in the last about 3 game minutes here. It'll be Eli Mechanicu. See, first game calling for. There you go. Hey, that's why I'm here, right here. Why you're here. You called last week. Clean drive into the paint for 2. Austin Walker's a player talked about by his coach Ryan Julius as the kind of guy who wants to play basketball professionally, unlike many of the other players on this roster, but somebody who's always overlooked by the other team. Yeah, it's always when you got a guy that has high goals, knows how to work, you'll take those guys. Missed 3 there from the corner for Colin Ramage. You kind of brought it up earlier on one of the Metamora possessions. Ramage, not the guy you're really game planning for, but he's been the centerpiece of the offense so far for Metamora. Max Sutter lost control of it. He gets it again. Over 2 guys, lays one in. For those of you who aren't from the Central Illinois area, Max Sutter is a national name, and it's because of what he's doing in the sport of football, not in the sport of basketball. Ryan, you want to let the people know who Mac is? Yeah, he's a great tight end. You know, he could be being recruited for a couple different positions. I think he's more highly touted as a tight end for sure. He's a physical specimen. He's only a junior, and he's given Jonah Funk all he can handle when he was in the game, and he's exactly what you need. He gives him a great inside presence, and he's a guy that he's not going to get subbed out a lot, and when he gets subbed out, it's for about 15 seconds. Yeah, Max Sutter, as Zobrist thought about a deep 3. Instead, he's going to hold off. He's now getting doubled. Ball gets kicked out of bounds, and they are going to call it last touch on Zobrist. He's been a little rattled today, but he still has made 2 shots. 2 layups from beyond the arc. They've been able to disrupt him, the Eagles. Going back to Max Sutter briefly, Ryan, you know, me and Jonathan Michael over at Clutch, we were driving to Ottawa last night, and we decided to look up all the schools he's visiting as a nationally ranked number 3 tight end prospect. He's got Ohio State, Penn State, Ole Miss, and Alabama all in the same week at the end of April once this season comes to an end. Missed 3 there from Jacob Gladstone, a senior for the Eagles. And now Zobrist tried the deep 3, got poked away by Max Sutter. This was not a matchup we knew we were going to see. And the over and back call on Zobrist, he's wanting a tip. And that's going to be about 3 miscues there for Matthew Zobrist right away. And you can kind of tell what the game plan is here. These guys on Dunlap are going at him. They are not going to let him beat him. And if you're Coach Julius, you're telling your players, hey, we are going to make somebody else beat us tonight.
in a game like this, you're not going to have a huge D1 prospect come out and just, hey, we're going to let this guy just do his thing here and hope he starts missing. That's not what you do. You got to make someone else beat you. And I think they're doing that pretty well so far.
You know, Coach Julius, as you mentioned, he told us when we talked to him earlier on in the week that his mentality was to put Jack Steffen on Zobrist, but he said we're going to see a lot of different looks. We saw Steffen a lot in the first 10-ish minutes, but recently he's been put in 2 doubles, including putting Ryder Annette, the freshman, for a lot of man coverage.
You just can't let him get comfortable in anything, because you come down the floor, you see the same defense 3-4 times, you start and pick your holes, pick what you want to do, start getting comfortable making the same moves, but when it's a surprise every time, I mean, that's all you can really do, just try to contain.
Tried to feed one into Sutter. Instead, it's taken out by Renette. His throw a little bit hot and away, so Metamora is going to get it. That was a great play, Art. You know you got a guy who is 6'6" and 220 pounds in the paint. Nobody can match his size from, I mean, Jonah Funk can match his height, but nobody can match his size on Metamora, and that's what doesn't allow him to get a lot of calls, but a nice play there by Julius to try and just get him to have the momentum to the hoop. This one tipped and battered around, and it is going to stay Metamora ball. Ramage will be the inbounder.
And with Jonah Funk being out right now, this is the time to use Max Sutter. You got to get the ball inside and let him go to work.
You know, we were going to talk pregame about how Coach Dem presumed the matchup would be Funk and Sutter to watch tonight. However, with Funk over on the bench, Sutter's been executing. 3-ball there from Brady Jones, good. The freshman makes his second of the night.
And that's what he's done this year. He kind of floats to the corners, and you have big guys like Matthew Zobrist go in and create shots for him. We have seen so many corner threes. I know for a fact that's got to be in Dunlap's scouting report, but he has been absolutely money from there this year.
Into the paint is Austin Walker for another 2. He's up to 6 points. Yeah, you know, we did talk to Coach Ryan Julius, and he told me about how everybody looks at Funk and Zobrist, but that he's got an eye out for Brady Jones because he lit him up the first time these 2 squads played. A little bit careless with the ball there is the Redbirds. Driving into the paint is Dunlap, and a basket for Gavin Gibbs. The sophomores got 4 as Metamora starts to see its first press of the night. It's a little bit of a light press, and they immediately back off it, Ryan. Zobrist tried to go all the way around the arc, but instead it gets fouled from behind. That's Eli McAnew.
Mechanicu. We'll work on it.
We're going to work on it.
The third time's coming.
The third time's coming. We got it. You know, I'm just going to take out my pen.
M-I-C-C-A-N. Just right there for the pronunciation. There you go. Mick Can. Good baseball player, too.
That's probably
help
why
the Eagles out a lot this spring.
That's probably why you know him, Ryan. Another 3 for Brady Jones. He's 3 for 3 beyond the arc. For those of you who don't know, the man sitting next to me, Ryan Vogel, an incredible player for Bradley baseball. Graduated last year, but still has some very big roots in the baseball community in this area. It's Ryder Annette. He drove all the way from the arc and gets the bucket. That's his first of the game. As we said earlier on, he had 22 the last time these 2 schools met in that one-point game you were at last week.
And that's exactly what we talked about. We need Annette. He's got to be their spark. Last week he was oozing confidence in the first half, and then he kind of took over late and kept them in it too. They need him badly tonight.
Zobrist wants to go in, finds an open man, and it's a basket good. That's Jack Hessing for 2. First time he's been subbed in the game. Again, that's what Zobrist does, is he feels the double on him and is able to find that open man just to get the next bucket, but then he still comes out on nights and scores 30 points.
And you see him shoot these crazy shots, and it makes you forget, oh, wow, he's a great passer, too.
8 seconds till the half. They're going to give the ball to Renette for now. Renette, guarded by Greaves, goes for a deep 3 and doesn't hit anything. Ryan, any quick thoughts before we go to break? First half underway, but the audience could only hear us for 8.
Yeah, it was a great first half, and it almost looked like we were going to see a little bit of a pull away from Metamora there, but Dunlap does a great job to get back in it. They are mixing up the looks for Matthew Zobrist. It's been something new. They've doubled him. They're trying everything, which you have to. You're not going to let a guy like that beat you. But a great first half effort by Dunlap in what was a slow start. And hopefully we'll continue to see a great game down the stretch here.
It's just a 6-point contest between these two teams. We know that this is probably the most defensive duel out of the being the third matchup. The first two had a lot more points from both sides. We'll see if the offense comes alive in the next 16 or if this continues to be kind of a defensive, get the next bucket duel. We'll step aside for a moment. We're Clutch Sports Media on CIProud.com. I'm Caden Sexton and Ryan Vogel. Stay tuned.
Dentures themselves do not have to cause pain, but many times that's not the case. Dentures also should look natural and look nice. So the things that we do is try to make you look nice and make sure you're not uncomfortable.
Dentures par excellence, restoring lost smiles.
In 1957, Cyril and Lewis Keller invented the skid steer in Rothsay, Minnesota to make farming and agriculture work much easier. Since then, Bobcat has become an integrated and trustworthy household brand. Being the first to bring the mini excavator to North America, Bobcat revolutionized the industry with compact tractors, utility tractors, mowers, and other equipment. Quick and agile, Bobcat is one tough animal. Locally owned and operated since 2001 in Bloomington and Peoria, Illinois.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. So bring all your friends. Bring the whole family, because we could all use a bit more Braskies.
Sweep-A-Lot takes care of your pavement sweeping needs for your parking lot or landscape. Sweep-A-Lot is backed by Purdue Pavement Solutions, trusted for paving, sweeping, and parking lot maintenance.
Need an injury lawyer? Get a fighter. Get a street lawyer like Todd Strong. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He'll fight for your rights. Get Todd Strong. He fights like a street lawyer.
My name is Todd Strong, and I've been representing injury victims for over 25 years. I have a team of lawyers that also assist me in the handling of our cases that have aggressive passion to represent injury victims and get the best outcome possible.
Meadows Avenue Tap. Slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Lunch service starting at 11. Meadows Avenue Tap. Discreet gaming, great food, great friends. Our customers won over 60 million lifetime. Meadows Avenue Tap, East Peoria.
Welcome back here in Dunlap. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Ryan Vogel. And Ryan, we've seen a 25-19 first half. Really, the Dunlap Eagles coming alive as of late going into half. But it's not like these two teams are unfamiliar with each other. Not only are they Mid-Illini rivals and see each other every season, but since they are Mid-Illini rivals and see each other every season, this is the third time they're playing each other.
Yeah, third time meeting. Always kind of an odd instance here. And then to top that off, you have Metamora as the home team at Dunlap's court. So, like I said earlier, sometimes those weird things will favor the underdogs, throw Metamora off a little bit, but they weren't thrown off too bad. We saw a few miscues from Matthew Zobrist there. I had kind of 3 turnovers there in a couple-minute stretch, which was a little odd, but we knew that talking to Coach Julius that they were going to show him some different looks.
Yeah, you know, again, this is the third time you've seen a team, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's known throughout sports. You mentioned, and I'll talk about it briefly, Dunlap is the visiting team because of the seeding of the regional, but it's their home court, and they've got the far side nearly filled. Metamora, though, they came and showed up for their team as well. A great section of fans from both sides. But to quickly talk about this being their third time meeting each other, Dunlap had the game tied going into quarter number 3 the first time they saw each other, but the Redbirds earned a 69-52 victory. It was Zobrist with 30 points and Funkin Ashen Greaves scoring 10, Sutter with 18, and Jack Steffen with 14 in that one. You were here last Wednesday for game number 2. Zobrist scored another 25 bomb with buzzer beaters going to end the second and third quarters. Ryder Renette, however, as you talked about, he started to light things up with 22 points and was able to get them just one shy of 59-58 loss. Graphic a little bit off. The winner of this game plays Morden next time around, so very big game and a could be another rematch for Metamora, who is 1-1 against the Potters, or it's Dunlap going into a team that they're 0-2 against this season.
Yeah, and anyone who's been familiar with the Mid-Illini basketball scene knows that this is an absolute gauntlet of a regional. I mean, this is more of like a matchup you'd probably like to see in the Sweet 16 Elite 8 type matchup. I mean, we're talking 2 top 5 teams in 3A here with Metamora and Morton, and they might only get 2. One of them's only going to get 2 games into the playoff. One of them will only have 1 playoff win, and that's if they meet here tonight. Metamora still has a big task to take care of tonight. But you have on the other side, you have Kankakee, you have Peoria High, and then you have a sneaky East Peoria in there who's beaten Morton and Peoria High. So, I mean, just a whirlwind of a regional on both sides, the top and the bottom here. We're in for one, and my bracket will probably be busted if I made one here.
No, you're most definitely right, Ryan. Before we go to break one final time, I cannot find the stat in my notes. Oh, there we go. As I start talking, I find the stat. The last time the Dunlap Eagles beat Metamora was on January 6th of 2017 in this building. It's been a long history of success for the Redbirds. However, the closest game was under first-year head coach Ryan Julius this year with a 1-point victory. Unless if I did my looking through stats wrong, the next closest was just a 7-point margin of victory for the Redbirds. So despite the long history, this team in this Ryan Julius mind has a solid chance of beating a nationally talked about squad.
Yeah, and that's not really shocking knowing, you know, his background. He was with a great Peoria Notre Dame program, girls program, and he is a fantastic coach, and he had great people to learn to. And as we know, he's friends with Justin Dame and Coach Greaves, Danny Greaves, who just retired last year, who took Metamora to a state championship, and in my opinion is one of the top basketball minds in the state of Illinois, if not one of the best high school minds in the country. Has really helped out Ryan Julius when he was at Notre Dame too.
Yeah, as you said, coming off of he was the assistant coach on the Peoria Notre Dame girls squad that won state last year. Will it be the Dunlap Eagles beating Metamora for the first time in 16 matchups, or will Metamora hold on to get a rematch against the team that was just 1 game shy of them in the Mid-Illini and the Morton Potters? Stay tuned for the second half here at Dunlap.
It's time to trade up. A job is just a place you go to work. A career is a path that moves you forward. Trade your job for a career in welding, HVAC, medical assisting, dental assisting, and more with hands-on training at Midwest Technical Institute. At MTI, you don't just get an education, you learn a valuable set of skills you can build on for a lifetime. It's time to trade up. Get the training you need for your new career at MTI.
Hi, I'm Jim Arnold with Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. Improve the curb appeal of your biggest investment, your home, with a new Wayne Dalton garage door. Or for repairs on your existing door, call us for service even on Saturdays. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. It's in the name because it's what we do.
That mountain of boxes won't pack itself, but Peoria Production Solutions will. Let us handle your packaging and assembly. Our highly trained team uses computerized inventory control and specialized equipment to ensure your customers receive their items on time. Let us help you grow and scale your business. Give us a call or visit peoriapros.com for a quote today.
A lost smile is never truly lost.
Many of the patients come in and they're usually trying to cover up the way their teeth look. And when you take them from that, they just come in with a whole different person.
Dentures par excellence, restoring lost smiles.
Welcome back here in Peoria, in Dunlap. Used to saying Peoria too much. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside myself is Ryan Vogel. And we're just 25 seconds away from a buzzer, just a moment more away from the second half between these two squads. Before we get into action, have one quick read for us. Holy Family School has been a great sponsor here at CI Proud and Clutch Sports Media. We are brought to you by Holy Family School in Peoria, where we learn, serve, and grow Our faith-based environment enables students to reflect the light of Christ through humility, love, and sacrifice. We offer art, dance, choir, music, band, foreign language K-8, one-on-one technology, K-8 speech, and scholastic bowl. We have athletic teams in volleyball, soccer, basketball, track and field. Visit more at PeoriaHolyFamily.com. Back in action, Ryan. What are your thoughts? What do these guys need to do to move on and play Morton for the regionals?
Well, I know Dunlap's down by 6 right now, but I don't hate the way they're playing at all. They're playing with energy. They got fire. They're giving Matthew Zobrist a bunch of looks, as you can see right there. A very uncharacteristic missed layup there by Matthew.
Yeah, Zobrist hasn't seemed like himself, and it's Zobrist guarding Max Sutter, who drains a 3. That's the first 3 we've seen Sutter attempt today, and it goes in, no debate. Zobrist gonna play the point. 6'5", you don't think a high schooler 6'5" is a point, but he drives it all the way from floor to floor, baseline to baseline, no good. It'll be Renette. He's going to drive this time. He's got a man taller than him in Jonah Funk, who just swats that one out of the air. That's what a 6'10" player does for you, Ryan. Zobrist into the paint. He gets the foul, misses the bucket. You talked about it earlier. It's not characteristic of Matthew Zobrist to be missing these many shots. He gets a call now, so he's at least going to get some shots at the line. It's Sutter who picks up his second.
And here's one of my favorite things about Matthew, and I think it's one of the first signs of a player who has a ton of confidence, is Matthew had 3 uncharacteristic turnovers right in a row in the first half. I think he has 4 total turnovers. Comes out, misses a couple layups, and he still just takes it right to the hoop.
Zobrist makes both, and Ryan, unless if my notes are incorrect, that's the first time either team's been to the stripe so far.
Surprising with how physical this game has been.
A steal, speaking of physicality, by Ashton Greaves, gets all the way into the post, but Sutter stops him. Zobrist tries for one, and a late whistle, probably the right call, but Dunlap fans don't like how long that one took to get blown dead.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd delay came from the ref coming from behind up the court, but definitely believe that's the right call.
It's Ryder Renette, so now Renette, Walker, and Sutter all have 2 fouls for Dunlap. Fouls not really existing besides Jonah Funk over on the Metamora side.
And speaking of Jonah Funk, we didn't see much of him due to a little bit of foul trouble. He had 2 fouls pretty quick, so he didn't play much in the first half. That gave Max Sutter a little bit more time to shine there.
Gave Sutter some time to shine. It also allowed Colin Rampage and Brady Jones to get their fair share of buckets for the Redbirds. I think I said it when we came live, but in case you don't remember, our microphone is right in front of the Metamora student section, so they're loud and proud. Greaves pickpocket, got all the way down, but it's McAnew who is able to turn one over himself. He wants the 3, instead dishes it to Jack Steffen, a little bit wide, Zobrist on the boards. And they are going to call Max Sutter. That would be his 3rd, and that's not what you want to see if you're a fan of the Dunlap Eagles.
Mechanicu, Caden, Mechanicu.
And I wrote it down.
We worked on it on halftime.
There's some names that once I say it wrong, my brain thinks it's what it is. It's real fun. I mean, hey, I'm doing good with everybody else. Kimmy, I don't want to be shooting 90%, but shooting 90% is better than shooting 80 or 70 or whatnot. Funk trying to work on Sutter. It's a matchup we knew was coming. Battered around the rim and in for the senior that is committed already to South Dakota.
And with Sutter with 3 fouls, you are going to see Metamora go right at him because they want to get him out of this game as quick as possible.
Well, Funk sat for a while, as we've been talking about, because of his 2 fouls, but now Funk is going to probably attack, if not Zobrist, in the paint as much as possible. We knew Funk versus Sutter would be a key matchup. That basket good for Gavin Gibbs. It's his 6th point of this contest. We knew that matchup was going to be good to watch, yep. Ryan, but really starting to light up because of the fouls on each player.
And sometimes, in a regular season game, you typically see Dunlap probably pull Sutter here for a few minutes. With having 3 fouls this early in the second half, But with the season on the line, there's no time for that. And Sutter doesn't really sit out much anyway, so I don't think it's a stamina problem. But they just can't afford to have him out of the game.
You know, the conversation that the coach has had with us, I'm pretty sure it was Justin Dem, is when you've got a 6'10 kid, you don't have as much muscle. Max Sutter has it. A corner three, a little bit off the arc for Ashton Greaves. Redbirds get the rebound, recollect, set up a new play. It's Colin Ramage. He goes off the front iron, and it was Funk tried to go over the defender in Jack Steffen, unable to, and this ball stays with the Eagles.
And a great block there by Brady Jones. He's kind of starting to hit his stride here this last month of the season. You've seen him have a couple 20-point games here. He's got a couple threes from the corner already, and he's feeling himself a little bit.
Sutter finds an open man from the arc. I'll let you call it since he's your friend.
There's a three for Eli Mechanicu.
Mechanicu's second three of the night. He's got 6 points, but he's also got 2 fouls. Himself, Ryder Rened, and Austin Walker all with 2. Max Sutter, as we were previously talking about, at 3. So, you know, when you got so many of your stars with just not in foul trouble, but on foul watch, you got to play a little bit carefully as Matthew Zobrist drains the 3. I was about to say, but if you're the Redbirds, you can play more physical and aggressive, and instead, a deep 3 from Zobrist. His first beyond the arc tonight.
And you think, man, Zobrist hasn't really looked like himself tonight, and then you look up at the scoreboard, and he's got a double-digit points already.
Off the front of the iron, that was Austin Walker. Redbirds love to facilitate their offense through Zobrist. Their deep 3. Steffen was calling for an extra defender, and so Zobrist took the opportunity. Instead, Dunlap's going to switch sides here. Steffen wanted it. Instead, he gets it to Sutter. Sutter, uncontested 3. Zobrist came in at the end. A rebound there. That time made by Brady Jones. Metamora is very calm, very collected. They can be with the lead, but it's not a big one. And Funk with the board off Zobrist. Mix nearly does a backwards dunk, but instead just sets it in the hoop for 2.
And he's been kind of on this weird streak of reverse dunks. I think that must be his preferred method of dunking. It's a pretty easy problem to have if you get to choose a method of dunking.
Timeout for, is that called on Metamora? Thought that was a timeout on Dunlap, but the PA announcer called it for Metamora. We'll see what happens. You know, we've been talking all night, but we'll show you the graphic now. It's Max Sutter, it's Jonah Funk. These two, they have a lot. I mean, we knew this was going to be the matchup that decided the game. Zobrist, you can argue, is the number 1. You can argue Jonah Funk's the number 1 from the Metamora. Doesn't matter. You knew that the 6'10 length versus the 220, 6'6 tight end was going to be what decided this one.
Yeah, and you have two very different bodies. Me and Harvey kind of talked about it last week. You have Jonah Funk with more of the basketball, slim, lengthy build. He's going to pan out to be a great college player. And then you have Max Sutter with a more stocky, firm, little bit shorter, still huge compared to the average human. But you have two different kind of sport bodies here and two guys who are going to go play at a very, very high level.
You know, Ryan Julius kind of talked to me about how he doesn't go and try and argue with the refs for calls much, but he feels obligated to just for Mac. Because of that big build, he doesn't get many of them, and teams know it, realize it, and try and get away with it. And we saw it a lot in the first quarter, haven't really seen it recently, as it is Sutter in the paint. He got a feed there from Walker. He's going to take it out. Never mind, he wants the drive. Two guys both taller than him in the paint, and they call a travel on Sutter.
And we've been saying it time and time again, this has been a physical game. And same thing happened last week when we called that game. The referees kind of let them play a little bit. And if you're a fan, you don't mind that one bit as long as it's going both ways.
There's no shot clock in basketball, but you do got to worry about the 10-second. They get it over quickly, but, you know, sporadically throughout the night, Dunlap's tried a slight press as Funk, he wanted to dunk, but instead he just lets another 2 go in. That's 8 for the man who didn't play nearly the whole second quarter. A fast Gibbs went into the paint, dished out to Walker for a 3. That really keeps Dunlap in and gives the fans the motivation they need in an 8-point game.
And that's kind of how they snuck back in that game last week. They just kept hitting. Metamora gets a couple baskets. Just when you think they're going to pull away, they sneak a 3 in.
Zobrist wasn't looking, but he got the ball. He shoots off the back of the iron. Rebound by Brady Jones. Jones, his second chance effort, not successful, and Gavin Gibbs grabs the board. The Eagles, they've been looking for threes. They haven't been able to get many shots off with the height of the Redbirds. It's Walker now. He drives in the paint instead. He gets through his defender and an and one. That foul should go on Colin Ramage. And that would be Ramage's second. Walker, as I called, gets the bucket. Barring this shot, he's already at 11. This is number 12 for the senior, who is trying to play after his time here at Dunlap is over. He does go off the back iron for a miss. He's trying to play once his college career is over, but has not made a commitment yet. This could be his final game, or he has more to show the scouts. So Ramage gets the 3 from the wing and delivers for the Redbirds. His first 3 of the game and first points of this second half.
We've hit on Ramage a few times. Great player from Metamora basketball, Zach Schroeder, said, I heard him say on a broadcast a couple weeks ago that Ramage is one of those guys where he might not be one of the top scorers on this Metamora team with Zobrist, Jones, and Funk, but he'd probably be a premier scorer on just about any other team in the Mid-Illini or really in the area.
Zobrist sees 2 guys already on him. As we talked about earlier, Jack Steffen gets the majority of the workload on Zobrist, and he has him right now. It's Brady Jones on the wing. He feeds Funk, makes the guy jump. Austin Walker looks to the fans and looks to his bench and says, what can I do when this guy is 6'10" and faking me out and I'm just 6'1"? I mean, literally you take a 0 out of their height totals, but it makes a complete difference. And now you're Dunlap, you just gotta take a breather and start making some shots.
And this is when
we had a whistle, not sure which referee even blew it. And they are gonna call a foul. This one on Metamora.
It's gonna be on Ashton Greaves, his first.
Yeah, that one kind of came out of nowhere. That was in the paint probably. Doesn't matter. We play on. Dunlap still has control. Max Sutter's trying to find what he wants to do. He gives it to Walker. Walker's drive. He shoots it a little bit out of the paint, but it hooks over his defender. He's got another one, and he's at 13. Zobrist wants to just feel things out. Metamora might want to take the last shot. Only 15 on the clock. Ryan, if you're Metamora, are you waiting on this one?
Absolutely, no question. And even if there was a little more time, I'm probably still waiting anyway.
Passed it out to Ashton Greaves. His 3-ball doesn't hit anything. Clock hits 0. We'll take one final break here in Dunlap. You're watching CIProud.com. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me, Ryan Vogel. Make sure you stay tuned. It's a 9-point game, and these 2 teams played it to 1 point apart last time out.
The Bob Grimm way starts with us.
The Bob Grimm experience, what I like is that, you put customers first, make sure we meet every expectation and make a long-lasting relationship with them so that, they know that we're here for them and for their friends and family.
Don't try to put someone in a car that is not going to work for them. If you don't have what they want, try to get it, the proper vehicle. Again, just treat people the way you'd want to be treated and a fair deal.
That's the Bob Grimm way.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners, mattresses, and more. And we offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to stop in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture at 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
Peoria Academy is offering exciting camp experiences this summer for children ages 5 to 14. Our general camp includes weekly swimming and field trips. 2-week specialized camps focus on athletics, fine arts, and STEAM, featuring basketball, golf, lacrosse, volleyball, culinary arts, and theater, and so much more. Come explore with us at the camps of Peoria Academy. Register at peoriaacademy.org.
Meadows Avenue Tap. Slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Now serving breakfast Saturday and Sunday at 7. Meadows Avenue Tap. Great breakfast, discreet gaming. Our customers have won over 60 million life.
Welcome back to Dunlap, and we've got play just resuming. That's a good bucket for Gavin Gibbs. That's his second. A three-point ball was attempted by the Eagles, but Gibbs' second chance efforts keeps the Eagles in striking distance. That was probably the most aggressive press we've seen from Dunlap tonight. They've continuously tried to apply pressure, but really don't want to waste their guys when they know they have Zobrist, Funk, Ramage, and more with Brait Jones as well. I mean, the list continues as it's Funk in the paint. Skyhook, and it's a rebound grab by two Eagles. It was Renette and Sutter. Out for a three ball. It's missed there. Tries to get his own rebound. Mechanicu, but instead he almost got his own rebound chasing it down, but when you don't got somebody helping you out, not always easy, and he wasn't able to get to it, so it's Redbird's ball.
And you're going to see every trick in the book that Dunlap possibly has here. They're going to try everything to get back in this game because it's not like any other game. This is it.
And they call a travel on Colin Ramage, the senior. He doesn't like it, but not much more you can do. I think he hesitated. That was why the ref called that one. He was debating passing it to Funk or taking it himself. In that moment of hesitation, just a slip. And now Ryder Renette trying to facilitate. Ryder Renette, not a name we've been able to call much. Austin Walker didn't get blocked. Instead, a head hits him. So foul for the Redbirds brings Walker to the line. Already the leading scorer right now for the Eagles.
He's been fantastic tonight. Not a name we really called too much about it 7-8 days ago, but he's been fantastic.
Second foul on Brady Jones. Again, a freshman who just does so much for the Metamora Redbirds. And when you have two D1 senior commits, you don't think about the freshman, but he never comes and disappoints for the Redbirds fans. Walker's second is good. He goes 2 for 2 from the line. He had missed the first time he attempted. Those were the first free throws for the Eagles. And now the Eagles themselves applying some press on Metamora.
We're starting to get a little deja vu here. This is very similar to last week's game. Dunlap just did enough to stay in it, and then boom, you got a 1-point game with about two minutes left.
Zobrist to Ramage. Ramage wanted the three. Instead, he sees an open lane. Sutter didn't want the foul, so he lets the shot go up, and Ramage takes advantage. Ryder Renette hasn't gotten going. He has 0 points in this game. Team leader with 22. Last time, Austin Walker, beautiful spin move, gets 2. You know, it's not the threes that always keep you in games. It's being able to consistently go down and score. And Austin Walker has been that kind of player right now for the Eagles and got him back down to 5.
And we said they needed that spark. That's kind of what Ryder Renette did him for last week, and Walker's taking his turn now.
Zobrist wanted the three. He took another step, got a different angle. Instead, a missed shot. That one taken right below the basket by Ashton Greaves, and they're going to call Dunlap ball. That shot was almost behind the basket for Greaves, but sometimes when you don't have a lane to pass it, you've got to just make an attempt. Walker wanted the three. Instead, he goes to the paint. Around the rim for Gibbs, and an easy snag for Funk on the 6'2 forward for rebound and flipping the script for Metamora. Zobrist drove all the way to the paint well after that whistle, kind of carrying the freshman on his right arm. The foul should go on Renette. It did. That's the third for Renette. We'll see if he brings a spark as we get closer to the end of this contest. He was, as we've said a million times, fans are getting sick of it by now, Ryan, but he was the spark last week, 0 points right now. Metamora wants to switch up the play they're running, and now we hear the Dunlap and Metamora student sections barking at each other from the corners of this gym.
And we talked about there being different sparks between last week and this week, but those are the teams that are pretty hard to guard, is when you got a new guy that can go off every week.
Zobrist and the Dunlap Eagle fans making some noise on that one. Zobrist caught the pass. The play was pretty simple. We're going to kick it out, letting Matthew just run into the paint, and didn't work out, got swatted away, and one side of the gym didn't agree with who gets to keep this ball. Ramage finds Funk. Funk seeds a freshman in front of him. Then Max Sutter comes, plays help D, gets it out. Funk barely gets it away without throwing it out. He finds Matthew, a connection they know well here for Metamora. Foul before the shot on Zobrist. Question is, who's it on? And it is on Mechanicu, his third. So now Mechanicu, Renette, and Sutter all with 3 fouls for the Dunlap Eagles. Walker with 2, but at this point 2 isn't really as notable as 4 players with 3.
And just talking size here, Metamora's just, you can tell they got a little bit of older, a little bit more experience, but they just have more size in general. I mean, when Matthew takes it to the hole, I mean, he was almost getting triple teamed, as you see right there.
And Matthew Zobrist nearly walks in with a beautiful move, gets 2 more points.
It's hard to get in the way of something like that.
And you know, the thing that Coach Dem said that makes Matthew special is when they put somebody on Zobrist and they bring somebody else on Zobrist, he knows when to drive and when to find that extra man who's open and let him take the star power. It was a 3-point attempt there by Walker, and on the rebound, a foul by Dunlap.
Should be on Gibbs.
It is on Gibbs. That's Gavin's first. Stefan back in for Ryder Renette. So the spark will have to wait from Renette, and Dunlap's got to look for somebody else. We got another timeout. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about how Ryan Julius, Justin Dem, they got acquainted to each other. They've become good friends. They've called each other for advice, but they're both first-year head coaches. You know, we talked already, Ryan Julius from Dunlap, he was the assistant coach for the girls team at P&D that won state last year. He was a golf coach for a couple schools as well before taking this job. Justin Dem, assistant on Metamora's squad for a long time. Both of them in their first year. You know, Ryan, one thing about being a first-year head coach in the playoffs, this is either your first playoff win or you go home looking for it next year.
Yeah, you got that exactly right, but 2 assistant coaches who both won a state championship as well. So, and just to speak a little on Coach Dame here, I said last week he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink over at Metamora. Danny Greaves did a great job kind of letting him learn, letting him call plays, let him get his feet under him, and worked him perfectly into this head coach spot. And I don't think anything in the program really skipped a beat. I know Coach Greaves is around a lot. I see him in the school just from working there. He is a mentor to the program still, and Coach Dame is, I hope he has a long tenure here at Metamora. He's been great.
Dunlap's going to have to find a spark soon, or else, besides a foul game, there's not going to be much time left to make magic happen. Funk thought about a dunk again. We've been waiting to see a Jonah Funk dunk. Instead, he just lays up another layup. His 12th point of the contest, all from under the rim.
And he's been kind of the separator for Metamora here.
Max Sutter has it in the beyond the arc. The junior doesn't shoot much from 3. He attempted one there, and it was swatted away by Funk. On the ground, it's Mechanicu who got it. He gets it back to Sutter. Sutter in the paint. Foul comes. Metamora happy. Dunlap not as much on that Max Sutter call.
And that's where Metamora gets you. They get you on the little things. They do the little things well. Take a charge late in game. This team has poise. They have players who have played deep in the playoffs. They have Matthew Zobrist, who's been to a state championship, 2 of them. They understand how to play late in games.
This is one of the most aggressive man's looks I've seen Dunlap put on so far this evening. And it's going to result in a foul. I'm pretty sure on Jack Steffen, I am correct, that's his first. Not much to think about, just letting a different play be run by Coach Dem and the Redbirds. Never mind. I spoke a little bit too soon. I didn't realize that was number 5, so Zobrist, that does hurt now because that's the first free throw.
And just to speak a little bit on this Dunlap team, they have really impressed me over the last couple weeks here. That makes their record a little bit shocking to me. You'd think they'd have a little bit better of a season, and I guess you could say they're hitting their peak at the right time, but not an ideal matchup for them, but they have really impressed me over the last 2 games.
Dunlap is down 11 with just over 3 minutes on the clock. They don't seem with the sense of urgency. They want to run their play and play Dunlap basketball. It's Sutter and Funk, the matchup we know and love, and Funk comes away with the rebound off the Sutter miss. Matthew Zobrist, he brings it cross half court. Funk set a screen for him. And the triple team, so we find an open man, and Dunlap last to touch it.
And to me, there's got to be a little more sense of urgency on offense for Dunlap here. You're going to have to make a move. You're going to have to put on the press. I mean, this is an 11-point game. That's a lot in 3 minutes against a team who scores well.
Zobrist has no urgency to go to the hoop. He does, and trying to dunk instead, gets denied by the front of the rim. He then trying to make the steal on Gavin Gibbs, doesn't attempt it, doesn't want to get scared away and get a foul. And now Austin Walker's going to slow things back down for Dunlap. Finds Sutter in the paint. Sutter's staring down the face of the South Dakota commit. Mid-Illini Player of the Year. He kicks it out. Wild 3 by Gavin Gibbs. And now, question remains with 2:10 on the clock. Press is on, but what do the Dunlap Eagles do down 11? Matthew Zobrist, not the guy you want to foul. He's a perfect 6 for 6 and the only shooter from the charity stripe today for the Redbirds. He's been the ball carrier ever since I started talking. He nearly gets it pickpocketed. Gavin Gibbs is on and he wants to get it out so he doesn't avoid a jump. He finds Austin Walker. Walker hit in the face and he's going to get the foul.
And it's just been a totally uncharacteristic night from Matthew Zobrist, but this is why it's important that you have a well-rounded team, because when you have your guy like Matthew Zobrist have a little bit of a bad night here, I mean, we're saying bad, he still had a great night, your other players kind of tie the team together. And that's what Jonah Funk and Ramage have done tonight, in my opinion.
Eagles want one from beyond the arc. They're going to settle for a drive, and Jonah Funk just blocks that one. Funk and, as well as Matthew Zobrist, both named to the first team all Mid-Illini. Ashton Greaves makes the second team. He's a name we haven't really brought up that much, Ryan. It's because he hasn't scored since the first frame. I think he was the first bucket of the game, and he hasn't scored since. And this might be the start of the foul game, Ryan. With 1:21 on the clock, you got to start it soon, and the ball carrier, not being Matthew Zobrist, makes it an ideal time to start as well if you're the Dunlap Eagles. Only one foul for Noah Taylor. We haven't seen him at all tonight, but he's another player that, you know, gets a lot of action for Coach Julius's squad. First made, second missed for Ashton Greaves. First missed free throw of the game for Metamora, but they only attempted 6, and they were all from Zobrist. Shot there was Ryder Renette's. He's looking for his first bucket and was unsuccessful. Renette thought about the foul on Zobrist, instead let the play go on, and now not really a sense of urgency on the foul, and Metamora has no sense of urgency up 12.
Yeah, Dunlap kind of throwing in the towel here, and then kind of an odd foul as soon as we say that, but.
And the Metamora student section making it feel like the Potters are coming tomorrow on Friday night, or at least in the sound of their voices.
And that's the game of the year right there. You got two teams who have split the Mid-Illini Conference. Morton's mad with their tough loss to East Peoria that gave Metamora the path to win the conference outright. So you got everything you can ask for in next week's matchup. Not exactly how late in the season you want it, but still going to be a great one.
You know, they split the conference series, so you just touched on it. You can't call it a conference victory for, Metamora won the conference. They had a 13-1 conference record, but the Potters were ranked higher than them in this regional, and it's because of the strength of schedule that Morton had, and Morton's only other conference loss was to the number 3 team in East Peoria, who the Redbirds fed off twice.
It's going to take a fantastic effort from the Redbirds against Morton on Friday, as that's just, Morton is a well-rounded, just a fantastic team, and I didn't realize how good they really were until I went and watched them in person against Metamora last time and how well they handled the game.
I have not yet seen a Morton team play, as it looks like Coach Julius going to let some of his seniors get into the game. I see Julian Matthew. I see Noah Taylor. I see Jacob Gladstone. We saw Gladstone and Taylor for brief moments, but not much. And I see Caden Bailey, all not getting as much time tonight, but all playing now their final shift on the floor. And foul there on the drive. That was a foul off by Jack Hessing, a senior for the Redbirds. So it'll be, I think it's, since we don't have 5 fouls for Metamora yet, so don't get to shoot quite yet. You know, when you're in this kind of mood, you kind of assume, oh, get some shots now, but instead it's just an inbound.
It's one of those things Metamora does well, is they use their fouls. The fouls reset every quarter. They use the team fouls, and they kill momentum. And when a guy gets beat, just grab him, I guess.
All the Redbirds have to do is cross that line, and things will slowly tick away. The student section making sure they hear it. And at an away game, the home, technically it's an away game, even though it's in their building, Dunlap ends their season on a 55-40 loss to the Redbirds. Metamora comes out and shows why they won the Mid-Illini Conference and does it in a great fashion. We'll play Morton on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, absolute gauntlet of a regional. That's not a secret. We've been saying it all night. You don't want to see that matchup in the regional championship, but it's promising for a Central Illinois sports fan when you have that many great teams in the area and you have a stacked regional. There's not really much you can do about it. The teams are just good here.
Ryan, we will step aside for a brief moment before we conclude this broadcast. Again, I'm Caden Sexton, Ryan Vogel to my right. Thank you to all of you for listening on CIProud.com. Don't go anywhere. We will have the post-game recap brief in a moment after these short messages.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. First down to last call, we're serving up the good times. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. At Braskies, you'll find what you're looking for.
The heart of Illinois needs volunteers, and you can make a difference. Be part of a global community of people who care. Discover the joy and satisfaction that comes with improving your community and the lives of the people living in it. United Way connects volunteers who are ready to work with opportunities in the local area, driving real change made by individuals like you. Join United Way in improving the lives and communities around us all. Sign up today at volunteer.hoiunitedway.org.
Take the hassle out of pavement restoration with Purdue Pavement Solutions. Whether seal coating, crack sealing, or parking lot repair. And now featuring pavement sweeping. For professional quality pavement craftsmanship, trust Purdue Pavement Solutions.
Sam Metamora, the #1 Ram truck dealer in Illinois and the largest Ram dealer in the Midwest. It's our annual President's Day sales event. This month, take 20% off all remaining 2024 Jeep Wranglers, or save over $16,000 on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn when financing through Stellantis. Plus, enjoy a new Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $35,000. Don't miss the President's Day sales event at Sam Metamora, where we do the deals no one else will.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners, mattresses, and more. And we offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to stop in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture at 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
Hi, I'm Jim Arnold with Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. Improve the curb appeal of your biggest investment, your home, with a new Wayne Dalton garage door. Or for repairs on your existing door, call us for service even on Saturdays. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. It's in the name because it's what we do.
Welcome back to Dunlap. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Ryan Vogel. Here on CIProud.com. Since 1952, Rebrand Credit Union has been supporting the hardworking families of Central Illinois with great banking services. Rebrand Credit Union member care is exceptional. Visit us at www.rebrandcu.com or come see us in Bartonville and Pekin to see how we can help. You know, Ryan, before I turn it over to you, I'll go over some point totals really quickly. For the winning Metamora Redbirds, you had Matthew Zobrist with a 15, a low night for him, even though that's 15. Jonah Funk with 12, Colin Ramage with 9, as well as Brady Jones with 9, but Brady Jones only scored in the first half. And rounding things out, you got 5 points for Ashton Greaves. Over on the Dunlap side, it was 17 for Austin Walker. The senior didn't make as much of an impact the first time these two teams met, but the first 2 times these teams met, but he made one tonight. It's 8 for Gavin Gibbs, 7 for Max Sutter, and 6 for Eli Mechanicu.
2 guys who really stood out to me on Metamora was Colin Ramage. I mean, he did some dirty work for Metamora. He got in there. He only had 9 points, but I mean, for him, that's kind of a big night because he's not really the premier scorer. He's more the cleanup guy. But he was fantastic. And then Austin Walker was just phenomenal tonight. I mean, it was great to see. We didn't call his name that much last week, but we said, hey, they need a spark. And to be a senior and that be your last game, I know it's a loss, but I mean, that was fantastic. That's what a college guard looks like. I wish him well in the future, but he really, really impressed me tonight. Overall, the game got away a little bit in the fourth quarter, but for 3 quarters, it was a great game. We saw a good fight that we looked forward to in Funk and Sutter. Dunlap has a great core coming back next year. They're a young team. They're going to have Renette, Gibbs. They'll even have Sutter back next year, but we don't know what Sutter's going to do, if he's going to early enroll for football in college. Very, very likely, but we don't know that. They're also going to have Mechanicu back, and I know I'm missing someone too. Jack Steffen will be back, Renette. Just a nice little core coming back next year. A nice future to look forward to for Ryan Julius, and on to the next game for Justin Dane.
You know, really one of this comment that stuck out to me the most when we talked to Ryan Julius was that these are students first, and he has to think about, and winning is the goal, but them being students and being student athletes, being in high school and in being kids is the most important goal, and it's an emotional time for them. Giving a quick shout out, as you mentioned, Austin Walker, a senior who played his last game. He had a phenomenal night, and although you don't want to end your career on a loss, you can't end with a better game than Austin had. Of course, you're going to nitpick things for a while as an athlete. You always do, Ryan. I bet you can speak better than that than me. But you know, that's someone he's going to hang his head on high about. Before I let you keep going, give a shout out to the rest of the seniors who went on the floor for their final time tonight. Besides Walker, you have Noah Taylor, you've got Caden Bailey, Jacob Gladstone, as well as Isaac Foster and Julian Matthew.
You kind of, once you're out of high school for a little bit, you forget the time that you have to put in. That's a time commitment. So big shout out to those seniors for they kept showing up. It's not easy. Basketball's just not an easy sport. It's grueling, it's physical, and those are the guys who are guarding, even if they're not playing, they're guarding Max Sutter, they're guarding Renette, and they're giving them the best looks they can in practice so that when they come out of the game, they can contribute in some way possible. Props to those guys.
An incredible season for Dunlap all around. To give them a hats off. But before we sign off, we have to talk about Friday. Game 1 in Metamora, a 52-46 victory for the Redbirds.
That was a neutral site game,
That
too.
was a neutral
yep,
site
we had
game.
it over at Illinois Wesleyan over in Bloomington.
Game 2 was at the Potter Dome.
Yep.
Game 2 at the Potter Dome was a 59-42 win for Morton, a bigger score differential there. Another neutral site game for matchup number 3, Ryan. You've seen both teams more than I have. What does Morton need to do? What does Metamora need to do to be able to advance in the regional and play for the regional title?
To me, just from an athlete standpoint, Morton's, I hate to say it, but they're a little bit in the driver's seat here. You're not happy that you lost that game to East Peoria, and you're definitely not happy that Metamora took the conference after you just beat them pretty handily at your place. The game was good for about 2.5 quarters over at the Potter Dome, but Morton absolutely controlled that game from the start to the finish, in my opinion. It's going to take a tremendous effort from Metamora. They're going to need Matthews Obrist to do Matthews Obrist things, and they're going to need someone else to step up, because Morton is a well-rounded team. They have, 5, 6, 7 guys who go out there and do the right thing. They do the little things correctly. They run a good offense, and they have a couple guys who come off the bench and can throw you some good looks. I know they have a guy in Colin Burns who comes off and can help on Funk. It's just they're going to need to use the length of Funk, and in my opinion, like I said, I think Morton's in the driver's seat right now, but we'll see. Let's hope for a great game on Friday.
It's 5 games in a row, 1 for Metamora, a 6-1 record since the loss to Morton on January 28th. You said it best. Both teams know they can beat each other, but Morton coming in with a little bit more ferocity, because although they won the last game, and that's something Metamora can be mad about, Metamora got the conference title outright, and so they definitely want to prove that, the Potters want to prove that they deserve the share of the Mid-Illini. Metamora needs to fend them off here at Dunlap on Friday.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture too, we talked a little bit about the other side of the bracket, and you got East Peoria, you got Kankakee, you got Peoria High. I mean, that is a horrifying little sectional there.
It is indeed. That's going to do it for us tonight in Dunlap. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Ryan Vogel, our producer Kayla Howell, our camera operator Robert Brown, giving the salute behind the camera. So long from us at Clutch Sports Media, broadcasting you live coverage today on CIAproud.com. Make sure you stay tuned to all of our upcoming games, as we are all across Central Illinois. That'll do us from us at Dunlap, 55-40. Metamora squeaks by to play the Potters.
Winter weather in Central Illinois can change in an instant. That's why you need a forecast you can trust.
WMBD is your local weather authority and your secret weapon to stay ahead of the storm.
So whether it's a foot of snow in Bloomington,
icy roads in Peoria, or gusty winds in Washington,
you'll be the first to know, no matter where you are. On the air, online, and on the go with the CI Proud to Go app.
WMBD, Central Illinois Proud.